Hello everyone, it's Carrie, and I made this card last week, creating a stitched quilt. I had so many requests that I decided to do a video. These are the dies that I use, believe it or not. It's called Quilted Window Squares, and I used just those two dies to create this amazing pattern. This is the paper pack that I used on that original card there. That's the chalkboard paper pack, and this is Plum Pizzazz paper pad from our Daily Bread Designs. And this is the one I'm going to use today to show you and demonstrate how I made this card. I have found that when you use the darker papers, it really draws your eye to the design. So here I cut out these purple polka dots and I used 2 pages of it. Now you'll see that there's a score line on the round die, so you just fold all of those in. And I also cut out with the squares, I cut out some purple in a lighter shade and also some plaid squares. And I'm going to use this Nuvo liquid adhesive to adhere all of these together. I'm going to speed this up. That way you can watch it in fast motion. It does take a little bit of time to create this quilt, but it is a lot faster than creating a real quilt in real life, not a paper quilt. I know, because I did make a quilt back in college and I have not made one since. Well, here is the design all put together. I have glued down all the pieces with alternating purple and plaid on the inside. And now I'm just going to glue them down in the pattern, and I like to do them in a diamond pattern. I put those corners together to create a diamond. And that's what creates the fun circular look when you see that quilted square. I'm going to continue putting these all down with that liquid adhesive. When I glue down the next line, I'll put them as close together as I can. And as you put these all together, it will create the diamonds with the circles around them, and I think they call those quilted squares. Well, you can see that I'm not a real quilter, but I am a paper quilter. And I just cut this one in half because I was missing a few on the top there. But don't worry about that. You will have some hanging off the edges, and I am missing a couple, so I'm going to just cut a few of those off of the edge here, and I'll glue them to the spots that are missing the quilt there. Easy as that. And now don't worry about those jagged edges either, because we're going to take a pierced rectangle die and clean all the edges up. Now I did find that you should wait till the glue dries completely before you try cutting it with a rectangle die. It really will cut a lot cleaner if you wait until it's fully dry. So I set it aside for a minute, and this is the stamp set that we're going to use with the hugs die. So I'll cut out that hugs in some white paper, and now I'm going to create some seam binding for this quilt. I do this by putting 2 pierced rectangle dies together, and I'm going to tape them and die cut that out to create the seam binding look. I'm using a dark purple paper that came in the same paper pad, and there you can see that seam binding that we're going to use. Now this looks great just like this, but you will notice on the first card that I made, I actually added some extra quilting to make it look like a real quilt. And how I did this was I taped together all those pierced rectangle dies in one big piece like that and tape it to the front of the quilt. And I'm going to run this through my machine using only the embossing pad. See that on the back there? You could kind of see that it was quilted, had that embossed quilted look. It's so pretty. I love this. So now to finish off this card, I'll add the seam binding and also white heat emboss the sentiment on that same dark purple paper. So it will say hugs because you can never have too many. And I'll attach that to a top folding card and add just a few glittery hearts. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the short tutorial on how to make a quilted card. Here's a couple others that I also embossed using some different embossing dies. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.